Hey, good morning. This is Wes Fryer in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's Monday, May the 6th, 2024, and I want to talk about housing first. So this past Friday evening, my wife and I, along with a couple members of our church here in uptown Charlotte, North Carolina, went to the Howard Levine Men's Shelter that is operated by Roof Above. Roof Above is a nonprofit that has been in operation for a number of years, and it started in Charlotte as a collaborative effort between what I understand was the business community and the church community to address the affordable housing crisis, to address homelessness, to help those who are experiencing homelessness in the Charlotte area. And so I think they have about 140 men that live in their facility. It is a transitional housing facility. It is next to an emergency shelter. And so the emergency shelter folks, and these are both men's shelters. There are some shelters, I think it's a Salvation Army shelter for women and families. But the emergency shelter folk, the men will line up, and it's like a daily sort of thing. But the men that are here in the Howard Levine, I'll see if I can put a picture. I don't know. We don't take pictures with the men who are there. Well, our job is to serve food, and so we end up getting there about 5:30, and then get cleaned up, get our gloves and aprons and everything on. Learn about what we're serving that day and what a portion is going to look like, and then at 6 o'clock they open the rolling door or gate there for the food line, and then we serve about 100 men. I think they have about 140 that live there. They can actually stay there as long as they need to. Most of them stay, I think, up to 6 months, and then the goal is to get them into permanent affordable housing. What is housing first? Coming out of Oklahoma City, where my wife and I lived for 16 years until the summer of 2022 when we moved here to Charlotte, we were most familiar with the city rescue mission of Oklahoma City in downtown. And that rescue mission, where we volunteered at different times, and a friend of Shelley's was actually working there, and all of that led to Shelley eventually going to work at Positive Tomorrows, which is a fantastic nonprofit in Oklahoma City that serves children experiencing homelessness and their families. The city rescue mission and the rescue mission model is based upon this idea that you need to have and should have prerequisites before you provide housing, sometimes even before you provide a meal. Sometimes people say, well, you got to listen to this sermon, or you've got to, do certain things before you can, have a bed and have a place to stay. And they had a pretty rigorous program. And Shelley mentored and coached several women that were experiencing homelessness, and that program, it works for some folks, but it doesn't work for a lot of people. And so through our church, Caldwell Presbyterian Church here in uptown Charlotte, we have learned about housing first. We have read a number of books together and studied them in our ACE Sunday school class. One of them is called Shelter Theology, and another one is called, it's by Kevin Nye. He actually went to seminary in Oklahoma City, and Kevin has a Substack that I'll recommend. I just read an article that he posted last week on his Substack. And if you're not familiar with Substack, it is a platform for newsletters, but also for creating a website, and it's free for creators after you get to a certain level and support and things like that. Anyway, it's great. I have a Substack. I have a media literacy Substack. Kevin Nye does as well. What is housing first? Housing first is not a rescue mission model. It does not say, you're going to have to agree to profess faith in the Lord Jesus Christ. Oh, you're going to have to, listen to this sermon. Oh, you're going to have to, get off alcohol and drugs and, get your life straightened up before, we're going to provide you with housing. Housing first is research-based, and it is the philosophy that once we provide housing and provide some housing stability for people, then there's all kinds of ways that we can help those people and to provide services and opportunities for them to do lots of stuff. There are many, many complex things going on in the world of poverty, in the world of homelessness and affordable housing. And I'm not going to pretend to know all the answers, but here's some things that I have learned. Number one, we are called, I believe, as Christians and followers of Jesus, but also I think members of our community who want to help our community. We are called to live in proximity to others who are experiencing different things in their life, like homelessness, experiencing poverty. You learn things when you step outside your bubble and you hang out with folks that are in different situations. The men at the Howard Levine shelter are so appreciative. The staff is wonderful. It's a help for them. We do this on the first. We're doing this on the first Friday of each month. We've just done 2 months so far, and we just serve the food. But the menu this last week was sort of like a loaded baked potato, but instead of baked potatoes, it was tater tots. So there was chicken, there was beef. There was like nacho cheese and jalapenos. I was serving the nacho cheese and the jalapenos. I love the fact that they had these choices, and so you had this chance of interacting with the men and visiting, but just having a smile on your face, serving them food, hanging out. I think the next time we may actually eat there. We haven't eaten with them after we're done, and I think that there's value in that, and it's just a good opportunity, a good experience. So when I was in Oklahoma City, familiar with the city rescue mission, I didn't know any different. I thought, okay, this is the way homeless shelters work. I didn't have this idea that there were two big philosophical camps when it comes to helping folks experiencing homelessness. So I encourage you to read a little bit more about affordable housing. Subscribe for free with your email address to Kevin Nye's Substack. I'll put a link to it here. I'll include it in the description of this video. Read Kevin Nye's book. Read the book Shelter Theology. Get involved. What is happening in your local area? Unfortunately, what is seeming to happen here in Charlotte, North Carolina, is we're kind of turning into California when it comes to housing prices, and that also means affordable housing. At our church, where we are in the process of doing a project called Easter's Home, we are converting our education wing that's been closed for decades, I think. It's being renovated into 21 efficiency apartments that will serve as permanent affordable housing for folks here in Charlotte. Well, guess what? Some of the construction workers who are building Easter's Home cannot afford to live in Mecklenburg County, which is where we live. And so the construction company actually has a truck that serves as a shuttle to bring them from outside our county into town each day to work, because it's too expensive for them on the salaries and income that they have to be able to live inside our county. So hopefully here in Charlotte, we're going to be able to continue partnering with business community, with the church community, with schools, with civic groups, with all kinds of organizations, and just with individuals that want to help out. So here's the link to Roof Above. Check them out. You can read about affordable housing and about their philosophy. And I think this is good stuff. It's good to be in proximity with all kinds of people, but to seek to understand better the situations people are in, what kinds of resources are available, and then what can we do individually to serve and to help. That these are important things. I hope you have a great week. Bye-bye.